Someone write something. Yeah, no, he's just waiting. Someone to go, yeah.
Well, at least you and I have connection, so that's a start.
We've got that, mate. We've got that. We're live. That's it. It's working. We're in.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm guessing everyone's going to know who you are. But just in case they don't, because although we've both got car-based channels, they're quite different. You are, would you say, a Nurburgring expert? Did you say it's like, I mean, people must have seen your laps on board around the Nurburgring, and it's fitting because I wanted to go there my whole life, and I went there for the first time 4 weeks ago, something like that. And yeah, I've been studying your videos like religiously, looking at these corners, looking at everything, trying to picture it, trying to remember it, and then you get there and it's gone. You haven't got a clue.
Yep. Yeah, indeed.
It just comes at you so fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically what I say is it takes about 100 laps to remember roughly where left and right is, and after that the rest of your life to know the track. Wow. So you're kind of right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, going back to your question about me, for people who don't know me, and like, well, you call me a Nurburgring expert. I'm far from that, because like I said, there are many people that have forgotten more about the Nurburgring by now than I will probably ever remember. A while ago, I had an honor to experience one of them, for example, Walter Earl. Yeah. So I like to describe myself as someone who definitely loves and adores the Nurburgring, the most beautiful place in the world for me as a petrol head, or as a car guy, because I don't mind what kind of propulsion the car has, whether it's petrol, diesel, hydrogen, electric. As long as it can go fast, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and I like to consider myself as a entertainer in a way, I guess, for people. Yeah, to show people it's not about chasing lap times. It's not about being fastest. It's not about being a race car driver. It's not about. I believe on my channel, I hope that many people can find a bit of everything for their own. Whether it's about a certain car, a certain story, a certain how-tos on how to build your track car, or maybe even how-tos how to where to find the best piece of steak and tiramisu here at the Nurburgring. So it's or also, of course, there are, we all know internet is full of experts and some haters. They might find my videos entertaining because it makes them feel better, because it makes them themselves feel a better driver, because they think I'm a shit one. I don't care. At the end of the day,
experts on the internet, surely not. Keyboard warriors. I mean, oh. You see, every time you do anything on a YouTube video, you're right. There was a guy with literally, someone sent it to me this morning. A fella's taking a Westfield, little Westfield 7, a V8 twin turbo Westfield.
Yeah, it's Andy Forrest. I know him. Yeah.
What, round Brands Hatch?
Yeah.
And there's people in the comments going, well, if he'd taken a different line, I'm like, you're sat on your mum's sofa at home saying that. He's in a bloody twin turbocharged Westfield V8. He's just done Brands Hatch, and I didn't even know what the time was. I didn't see it. I didn't need to see it. I go to Brands Hatch quite a lot to watch the touring cars. And the speed he came out of Druids and he was at Graham Hill Bend, I thought, that's a second. He's literally done, he's there and then he's there. That is insane. And then these people have got this nerve to comment on it. Like, I don't see you doing it. It's crazy.
Everyone's an expert. Yeah.
I think it's always humbling. I got humbled when I watch your videos, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm not a bad driver, I'm all right, And then you watch someone, and I did the same thing when I was younger, and I had a rally, went to a rally school, and it was the same thing. And I was going around doing a circuit, and you think, I'm getting quite quick at this. And at the end, the instructor takes you out, and you just think, no, I'm not. I'm rubbish. And watching you guys going around like left foot braking and heel and a proper heel and toe. And I try and do that and go through the windscreen, you know, and it's just. But the thing with the Nurburgring for me, and one of the things that one of your videos I actually like, the series of them I actually like. I like the ones when you walk around it.
Yeah.
Because that is the only video I've ever seen where it actually gives you a kind of like a real perspective on the elevation.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing I realised. I played Gran Turismo, Forza, Project Cut, whatever. I've played all the computer games. I've grown up with Project, and you've grown up with Nurburgring. And I've only done one lap in my life in a Ford S Max, right? So it was like I was just permanently indicator on, letting all these cars whip past. And when the first thing I noticed when I got on is I came out of the went under the bridge, how wide it is. I mean, it's really wide there. And then you go up to the top where the pits, I suppose you would call it, if you were racing on Forza or whatever. And then that first left-hander after that. And that's when it hit me, because I drove into that left-hander and I thought, oh, that's downhill, like quite a lot. And the game, it's flat.
Yeah,
you realise as soon as you're there, like we had a family in the car, we had all the kids in the back, we had our luggage, we were on a holiday. We stayed in Ucken, not far away, and you know, there's guys going around in 911 GT3s and things, and we've got our luggage and everything like that, and we're going around it. And I thought I've gone around this track so many times on a game. I've no idea where I am. I don't know where am I? What corner is it? And you get that where you stop looking in the distance. You end up just looking at the corner that's coming. You think that's no good. I need to be looking further up. So we pootled round so slowly. I went on early. It was about 10 o'clock, I think it was. But it was the bank holiday weekend. I'd never been on before. And there was a guy, well, a couple of Brits in a yellow Clio trophy. And I said to him, like, I've never been before. Can I use my phone to scan at the gate? And he said, yeah. And he said, you've picked the wrong weekend to do this. And I thought, why? And he goes, it's British bank holiday. All the Brits are over it. He said, it's closed half the time. He said, some idiots pranged his M4 into the barrier or something like that. It was closed when we got there. We did a lap. I think it was closed 20 minutes later. And you just see all these smashed up cars going by. Because that's what I couldn't get my head around. It's like a roller coaster for a car. It really is like this, isn't it? You don't see it on games or even on videos and things like that. You just can't picture it. And I can see how people come across it there. I can see how people have crashes and things. You know, if you go into a corner thinking that, you know, your skill level is higher than it actually is, which is why I get all the more blown away when I see like laps that you're doing. I mean, people in the chat will be going, oh, you know, this is all going to be like supercars and things like that. You drove a Reliant Kitten round a couple of weeks ago, didn't you?
Yes.
I saw the picture of Reliant Kitten and I thought, no, hang on, what? Because that's basically like a three-wheeler with four wheels. It was like, that's, you know, we don't even see them in the UK. But I used to have a Reliant Fox van, which is the same kind of chassis as that, but it's like a pickup thing. I never drove it, to be honest. It was in bits. But I'm just looking at this Kitten thinking that can't still have a Reliant engine in it. And you open the bonnet, yeah, it was like 38 horsepower or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, it was 38 horsepower, 850 cc, and was it 540 kilos or something? It was something very, very light because everything was made of fiberglass. So it was quite an interesting experience.
But that's what I like about the videos that you're doing, is that it will be very easy for someone who drives some seriously quick machinery to do a lap and then go, oh yeah, just take the piss out of it at the end, basically. And you don't. You're kind of like positive and respectful about everyone's car, and it comes across genuine, not like you're humouring them. And I've seen other people write that in the comments as well. Other people have said, like, you know, genuinely come off of it and go, actually, no, there's some good things about that. When inside in your head you must be thinking, like, get me out of this car. Like what's the car that you're going to get asked this all the time? What's the one that stands out in your head, like in your mind, in your memory? Like the one where, oh, I really love that.
I mean, from factory car or any car, I think, well, the GT3 RS for sure, the 992, the current one. That's at this point, it's one of the fastest cars around the Nurburgring, and it's definitely the best car out there. You just get in, you drive, and it's extremely fast. It's extremely stable.
Mm.
But yeah, at the end of the day, anything can be made into a nice and exciting, in a way, reliable car, I would say, for the track.
Yeah.
And the beauty of this track is that anything can make fun, because the reason why Nurburgring is so exciting and so let's say demanding and challenging for the cars is because you have all kinds of things, all kinds of track sections. They are challenging for their own way. You have uphills, you have tight corners, you have very fast corners on like maximum speed, like close to 180 miles per hour. Um, and any car can stand out at a certain point. Of course, it's the challenge to conquer the whole circuit, but at some point, you get to a certain part and you're like, you know what, this part is fun with this car because
Yeah.
we're going downhill and we have only 30 horsepower, but because we're going downhill, we're actually quite fast and quite
Yeah.
stupid at it. And because suspension is so shit, we can go here flat out over the curb because we don't care, it's
Yeah.
you can have a bit of fun everywhere. And I believe at the end of the day, the reason why people like my videos or like my channel in general is because every day there is something different. One day it's
Yeah.
Reliant Kitten, the next day is a GT3 RS, then it's like some 1,000+ horsepower modified car. And just right now I posted a video of a Honda CRX from '89 with slightly over 100 horsepower. So people might tune in and say like, why is this a slow piece of shit? On the other hand, someone else might say like, why are you only like giving attention to fancy cars? I don't.
Mm.
I like anything and everything. We drive everything, and
Yeah.
it turns out it's starting to turn, and I hope it's going to become sort of like a library for, well, as many cars as possible for on the track.
That's
And
that's that's what brought me to it, because I've watched plenty of channels before where they'll take fast cars around tracks or something like that. But it's the variety. You taking, like, as you say, one week it might be a Superleggera or whatever. The next week it could be something that you drive, like as a viewer. It could be something your neighbour's got. It could be. I mean, there was a chap brought his. I watched one the other day. He bought a BMW 728.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, of all the 7 Series, you'd think it would be like, oh, you take a 750 or something. No, it's a 7
Yeah.
Series. It's like the lowest power one. It looked very comfortable, to be fair. Like,
It was fun. It
but
was fun.
yeah, that's the thing. I think. I mean, the one that stands out for me recently is probably the one that stands out for you. Is that Honda Civic, that
Yeah.
with the 4th gen in front.
Yes. Yeah. That was amazing.
He wasn't hanging around, was he? He was going there.
No, no, and it was good because this was actually my second lap with the car. Because one of the things, what I would say, 99% of the laps that you see on my channel, they're all one lap. I hop in, I go for it. So
What?
it
That's
takes me,
the lap.
yes. So it takes me like half a lap to get used to the car. And then actually, well, the rest of the lap still to get used to the car, but I feel the limits within the first couple of corners. Okay, what does it do? And I slowly start pushing it more. For an average viewer, it might look like, oh my god, he's on the limit all the time.
Yeah.
No, but there's a lot more like safety margin between the certain things. And the thing with that lap is that I already had a lap before with that car, so I had already like in my mind like, okay, this is where we are roughly. And then we
Yeah.
went for the second one, and that's why it was like so much more special.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's yeah, the driver experience definitely helps. I mean, the seat time with the car.
The other thing that surprises me is that if I went back through some of your older videos, is you would go out for rides in other people's car.
Yeah.
And like, as to me, I mean, I'm not a terrible passenger, but if you're someone who's really good at, knows the feel of a car, knows the control, knows the parameters, like, how tires can come and go and how brakes can come and go and things like that. If you're in a passenger seat, you've got no control at all. You're helpless. So you're putting all
Mm.
your trust into this guy next to you. They must be people that you've vetted, or you must have an inkling of how good they are, because you look
Mm-hmm.
really calm when you're in the car, and I'd be like this. You're quite comfortable. And the one that because my kids love watching your stuff as well. They just go through the back catalogue looking at various videos and things. The one of them we were watching the other night, he loves the one with the Zara VTS, red
Yeah,
Zara a few years back. And we're
yeah,
driving it, and my oldest Jackie turns around to me, he goes, "This driver's unhinged. He's properly mad." And you're in the passenger seat, just like,
yeah.
I'd be grabbing onto everything, you know. But yeah, it's just like that's how Zara VTSs are driven. And then we watched that one, and we watched the ones where the guys brought you the you've got people have got to watch this. They haven't seen it. The guys bring you that Zara 1.6. It's like the opposite of a VTS, and it's
Yeah,
like budget tires. They're ancient. It's wet, and it's just it's just the funniest slap.
yeah.
But yeah, I think you were laughing for a good, I don't know, it must be 5 minutes at one point, just trying not to laugh because the tires. I mean, you made a point. You're the only other person I've heard say it in the video. Budget tires doesn't mean bad. Like some of them are actually fine.
Yeah.
But in this case, they weren't. They were really not good.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But no, I just think it's I think it's a really, really a fascinating channel. It's one for people to watch. I don't think I don't for the reasons you say about having a back catalogue of lots of different cars. I don't think you have to be into, like, people hear Nurburgring and they might think, oh, it's just for people who want to go really fast with flappy paddle gears and Golf R or whatever. And it's not that. Like you're driving such a range of cars that there's something in there for everyone. And I think if they, I learn a lot when I watch it. When you're talking about like tires coming on and then going again, and you can get to the end of a lap and go, oh yeah, no, the tires went around here, but then they came back, and I think, how can you tell all that? It's just a different level. But as far as other levels go, you've gone one further because a few weeks back you raced at Nurburgring, like properly, and you got a podium.
Yeah, that was actually last weekend. Yeah, it was
Last week. Oh, was it?
Yes.
You can tell how tired I am already. What was that like? I mean, I know you had a mishap in qualifying.
Yeah,
I think it was.
2 weeks. Yeah,
me like
2 weeks earlier, we had our first race debut with our race team. So I've been racing like before I had even YouTube channel. So in 2011, I was already like doing time attack. So like you said, this Westfield in Brands Hatch, it was a similar type of thing. Have lots of horsepower. The only difference between Andy, the owner and the builder of the Westfield, and me is I had no clue of how to drive in cars, but horsepower compensating for that. And then fast forward to 2015, I moved to the Nurburgring. 2016, I started doing full-time YouTube, yada, yada, yada. And 2019 was my first year that I was racing here at the Nurburgring. And not unsuccessful, I must say. So that's all from the Nurburgring. So all kinds of cups, also like 24 hours qualifying and other races. So it was quite all right. But since the channel, I would say, pretty much exploded this year because in April I hit 500,000. A few months before it was 400,000. So I think I started the year with 370,000 subs, and now I'm approaching 1 million within, I would say, within 4 weeks. So there are lots of new subscribers for whom everything I do is basically brand new. So when I announced that we're going to be racing this year, everyone said, "Oh my God, this is amazing! We're so happy for you." Now, it is of course fantastic. It's an amazing opportunity. It's also very amazing opportunity for the sake of, because this time I'm actually representing a brand, which is like a Black Falcon racing team and Bilstein, the suspension manufacturer. So I have the bragging rights of saying that I'm more or less like factory driver or factory
driver,
whatever you want to call it, so it is amazing, but it's not that it's my first race experience ever. But at the same time, on such a like pro level and pro great level and such a great team, it's a great media project, so it is amazing. So yeah, back to the topic. In 12-hour race 3 weeks ago by now, it was like the most disastrous race I've experienced in my life. So in the qualifying, like the first lap, I just the car just went, like you can see it on the video. Yeah, everyone kind of like literally even the haters didn't say anything, because once they saw the
Yeah,
video evidence, like it's like, all right, well, this is like really unusual. It's
yeah. Like
like,
there's almost like the oil on the track or something like that. Like it just went, didn't it?
and
There
there
was
was there was oil on the track, because they confirmed. The thing is, they told me on the radio there is oil at Schwedenkreuz, which is the next corner. So I approached the corner like quite easy, like no 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 no, and I turn in and the car just fucking goes. Like I didn't
no.
go full qualifying mode. I turned in slightly and then it just went. So probably hit the oil patch already there. Um, anyway, the car got rebuilt. Surprisingly enough, because Bilstein provided their normal company car, like a normal BMW 330, because we're racing with BMW 330. They provided their normal company car from someone who was like one of their office workers. That got completely stripped out. We put everything on the race car. We start the race from the back of the field because we didn't qualify, and then someone crashes, and well, two cars collide, and one of the cars crashes into us, into our door. Luckily it only hit the door, not the suspension. So then we proceeded again, we started driving. We actually, with starting from the rear and being crashed into, we were at some point, by the time I got in the car, we were fighting for P2. We were on third position, with everything that happened. I get in the car, I start driving. The first lap, excuse me, sorry, actually, it was the first day because it was a 2-day race. And on the first day, when I got in the car, another car crashes into me, a cop car, and then we get a DNF. So because we couldn't fix the car in time. Anyway, second day, we start driving again. And then we were actually fighting for P2. We were on P3 when I got the car on the last stint. I get in the car, and on the first lap the car dies on me, just like switches off, and like that's it. I'm like, well, great. Restarted, started driving, couldn't switch off traction control, which meant I couldn't go fast. Horrible. Car died again. Eventually we came P5 out of 8 or 9 cars that started in our class. It was good, of course, that we finished with everything, considering, but yeah, we wanted obviously more.
Yeah.
And then the actual race came from last weekend. We started, where did we start? Somewhere, I think we started 5th out of 8 or 9 in qualifying, or even 4th, because we couldn't get a clean lap. And like, yeah, we were 4th because the top 3 had a clean lap, and we had like a code 60. So this means we could only go 60 kilometers per hour. And eventually at some point, we were even P2, but then we finished on the 3rd place at the end. So yeah, we got our first podium, which was actually very, after the race, the 12-hour race of 2 weeks before. This was, like kind of a redemption, and
Really relief.
yeah, relief. Something that made, of course, all the parties involved, sponsors, of course, because racing is about sponsors, very happy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, good thing that this is not just like some stupid YouTube project of let us
Yeah.
put some people in the car and then we're gonna get all the views, but they actually cannot drive for shit. No, we actually proved that we can
Yeah.
fight with the top guys, because the top guys have been doing it for years, every single race, winning championships, and we come in and we drive on the second race. We drive the we get the podium. So this got us like really motivated again. So hopefully we get even bit better result, because we still need to work on our own skills. We need to work on the car as well. A couple of setups, things here and there, and yeah, we keep on going, as long as people like it and as long as we like it.
Well, as long as
Yeah,
you're
we
having
keep on
fun. I
doing it.
mean, I don't know who's on the grid, but in terms of experience around that track, you've got to be up there, haven't you, in the grid in terms of like laps banked?
Yes and no. The problem is, and I'll be the first one to admit, I have between 5 and 8,000 laps on the ring, of course, but everything with them, well, not everything, I would say everything except for the 200 laps or so are with street cars. And with
Right.
street cars, I don't know. And sometimes horrible street cars, like an absolute shit boxes. And every car is different: front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, 1,000 horsepower, 50 horsepower, everything in between: electric, petrol, hydrogen. Actually, I haven't driven a hydrogen yet, but electric, yes, diesel, of course, etc. So and there are no race cars, they're not on full slicks. You are
Right.
not in a racing environment, you're not pushing with your mind. You're always like, okay, I need to back off because I want this video to be exciting, but I don't want to crash someone else's pride and joy,
Yeah.
you know. And sometimes it does happen, of course. And we solve it very nicely, because everyone knows what they sign up for. And I always say, like, hey, if I crash it, I'll fix it for you, or I buy it
Yeah.
off you. We had a case last year, and luckily, knock on wood, it stayed there so far. Um, yeah, but going back to the fact that, um, the thing is, my experience, I would say, even subtracts from the benefit of knowing how well. I know the track, maybe where it goes left and right. I can
Mm.
drive blindly at night, surely.
Yeah.
Uh, but to actually being able to push the car, I don't have much more experience than someone who's been racing his own life in maybe smaller car, but
Yeah.
comes
Okay.
here and knows the dynamics of like a full racing slick, knowing how to push, when to go on the gas early, because there's a big difference in the way of driving cars. Yeah.
I suppose, yeah, it's like that whole, you've not had a chance to perfect it in a certain type of car because you're using so many different types of car. It's like you're
Yes.
almost resetting each time. Like, you know,
Exactly.
that that's
Exactly.
not the things the things you've been learning is the difference between the cars. Are there any cars that stand out that you drove around and you thought, I'm never getting in that again? Like that was awful. I know you don't
Ah.
want to. I know you don't want to be like slagging people's cars off, but
No, it's not about a certain car. It's more about a certain way that the car was built or completely neglected on maintenance.
right.
Um, so it was not because the certain brand or something. Because again, going back to Reliant Kitten, like, this was amazing. But
Yeah.
from a track car perspective, it's like, why the f would you ever take it on track? Well, because it's fun and because it's silly. And this is why men live shorter than women do. Uh,
It's got to be the
but
only Reliant kitten that's been around it, hasn't it?
I don't know. I mean, they have been around for 50 years, so I'm sure someone at some point must have taken a lap, probably in the last 50 years.
Yeah, maybe.
Um,
I saw a
but
video from yours a while before I went round the ring. It was about a week before. You were driving around in a it was quite a trick Golf. It was like a white Golf. I think it was semi-prepped. It was like caged and everything like that. And a guy in a
S-Max.
people carrier. Yeah, he was indicating right and then come across as you went into the really, just I don't know any of the names of the corners, but the bit where it dips and comes back up.
Yeah,
He came
Foxhole.
and you were on the grass and that. You managed to save it. And I looked at that and I thought that was an S Max. That's going to be me.
Yeah.
Like I'll have the indicator on, and then because you don't want to. I was conscious. I didn't want to be driving around and like constantly looking in the mirror to make sure nothing really fast is coming up in case, because I'm not looking where I'm going then. So it's like, you could quite easily be indicating right, looking in the mirror, and then not realise you're not actually on the right of the track anymore. You've come across.
Yeah.
I imagine that's what he did, but I mean that was luckily I got away. I didn't have anything like that. I mean, the only thing I had was we went round. I kind of have it in like three sections in my head. Like there's a semi-technical bit to start with, then you've got the fast bit, which is just longer, straighter, a bit uphill. Then you get up to carousel, and after carousel, it's quite technical again. And leading up the carousel, I see all these 911s and M4s and whatever come absolutely hammering it down. We got around the corner, the right hand up before carousel, and I looked in the mirror. I thought there's no one there, right? Because I'm going around carousel. I thought I've come all this way. I am not going around the outside. I'm going on carousel. And just as I'm about to go in, bloody Porsche comes. I thought, so I pretty much almost stopped on the side, like almost on the curb. Like, go away, like right, it's clear, go. And then like threw it into carousel, and the photographer got a picture. And the mud flaps are scraping the ground, like it's just fully slammed. It's like properly compressed. And honestly, on the road, that car doesn't feel that smooth. But on the
Mm.
Nurburgring, it felt like it was made of jelly. It was so soft, and the brakes are going long and everything. And we had kids in the car, so we weren't even pushing it at all. I mean, it would take me a long time to work that up, but it was just the workout that it gives your car. And I'd almost encourage anyone, like, take your car around it. It's an experience. Like, the closest thing I've ever experienced to it was I've driven around the Millbrook test grounds, Millbrook proving grounds in the UK. They, like, car manufacturers use it for testing, and I think some films get filmed there. That's the closest thing, the Alpine course there, because it's just the elevation changes are nuts, the cambers. It's like being on a roller coaster. Well, the Nurburgring is that, just way bigger. Yeah, it's an experience like no other, and I really, really would suggest people go. And the other reason, which is not something that anyone's ever told me before, is that the most beautiful part of Europe, do you think, down there? It's got to be up there.
Well, I mean, in terms of like roads and everything, it's beautiful, yeah, for sure. And if you have a good day, good weather, it's amazing. Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for it, because I just assumed you'd just be driving through. We've been to Spa the day before to do like a tour and everything, like have a look around there, and we just drove through Germany and Belgium and everything like that, and they just slowly, everything's just getting prettier and prettier, and you thought, oh, I wonder where this is. And you're just in paradise. It's just like these lovely houses on the hillsides and the trees and everything. You think, I don't want to, even the roads were smooth. I thought, I don't want to go home. Around here, it's not like that at all. But no, it's absolutely beautiful over there. Well, I hope to go back there. I'm building myself a track car.
Nice.
It's not a car. I don't think it's a car that you would probably associate with being a track car. It's a Citroen Xantia Activa. Have you heard of those?
Is it like with some sort of like active suspension, like a very soft? Yeah.
Active anti-roll. So instead of having, you've got your anti-roll bar, instead of having a drop link at either end, it's got a hydraulic ram.
Yeah.
So if the car goes into a bend, it pulls it level. And no one's that I've seen has made a track car version of one before, probably because they're not very good at it, because it weighs a hell of a lot. But that's my plan. I want to try and, a bit of aero and everything like that. So if I ever bring it over there, which I'd love to do, I'll drop you a message or something. You can send it, as you say. You can have a go. But yeah, I'll have to build it first.
Sounds good.
But yeah, well, mate, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for coming on. We're doing really well. We've raised
4,500, I think.
4,500 at the moment. Which means I've got to change the car on my wall. That was the 3,200 target.
Okay.
That was an M3 touring. We built it based on the BMW concept, and then the next one. Don't know if I've not seen you drive one of these. Let me find it. Familiar?
TVR?
Yeah.
Tagaris, or which one is it?
Cerbera. Cerbera. So it's a 4.5 litre TVR zone engine. So it's a flat plane crank, 75 degree.
Nice.
They're quite twitchy, but they ride really well. I think they're quite well set up. But be interested to see you do a TVR one.
Yeah, there is a guy who comes here quite often with TVR. I think maybe even two of them. So maybe one day I'll get to try not to die in them.
Yeah, they are a bit twitchy.
From what I heard, yes.
I look forward to it, mate. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the invite, and good luck with the future live streams, and also with the fundraiser. The most importantly.
Yeah, we'll do, mate. Yeah, I'm on till 6 o'clock tomorrow your time. I'll still be here. So.
Okay. Good.
Thanks very much, mate. Cheers.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.